Hello and welcome to today's yoga session. Myself Monica and I will be guiding you some hip opener yoga sequences. So let's get started. First, start with the cradle pose. Sit on a mat with legs stretched in front and spine straight for a few breaths. Then bend your knees and bring the legs close to you folded. With inhalation, pick the right leg up and hold it with right inner elbows and inner left elbows and bring the leg close to your chest with exhalation. Relax. Now feel the deep stretch at the hamstring and the inner upper left leg. Though this pose does not have a deep stretch at the hip, yet the simple holding of the leg close to your chest will work as a good way to move some of the muscles of the outer hip, thus strengthening the lower hip and lower back. Relax. Move to bound angle pose. Begin this pose seated in Sukhasana. Take about 3 breaths here, keeping the spine straight. After taking 3 breaths, move the feet by placing them in Namaste in front of you and bringing the outer knees close to the floor. This pose opens the inner pelvic and inner thighs, thus giving room for the hip joint to strengthen. Relax. Move to seated forward bend pose. Moving from bound angle pose, bring the body to relax by stretching the legs out in front of you and give the spine that rest. After taking a few breaths, bring the spine straight and keep the feet close to each other in front of you. Now with a deep inhalation, raise the arms above your head and as you exhale, stretch those arms in front of you, bending at the hip simultaneously, and reach for the feet with the palms and fingers interlocked outside of the toes. In this pose, if the back of the knees begin to feel too stressed, then one can try bending the knees a bit or place a blanket below the knees and then reach for the feet. This pose can be held for about 3 deep inhalations and exhalation or for as long as it is comfortable. Move to wild child pose. A good stretch to the lower back with excellent deep breathing from the lower spine is what this asana provides. Seated in Vajrasana, which is on your knees and ankles, slowly stretch the knees apart and bring the big toes behind you by touching them and place the lower back at the gap in between the heels very slowly and comfortably. The knees can be opened up beyond the hips to feel that extra stretch in the insides of the thighs. Now, as you inhale, raise the arms above your head and place them by stretching them in front of you on the floor as you exhale. Though this is a resting pose for the lower back, it is also considered a deep bend for the lower back and sides of the hips, thus making a good opening for the hip, which is much needed for other asanas. Relax. Move to wind releasing pose. The main objective of this asana is to remove all the unwanted gas around the lower abdomen, yet the pose brings in a lot of relaxation to the lower back and inner hips. While lying down on your back, stretch the legs out and relax the spine. After taking few breaths in Savasana, Bring the feet together and with an exhalation, raise the legs, bending the knees and bring the knees close to your chest by supporting it with your arms. As the inhalation and exhalation happens, press the knees closer to your chest and feel the lower back stretching. This asana could be repeated in 2 rounds to understand how the body moves and understanding the stretch at the lower back and an inner hip. Relax. Move to supine spinal twist pose 2. This pose, the most common one for the spine, lower back and hip, brings about the right balance to the entire lower back and joints of the hip. Here, as you stretch in Savasana, fold both the legs at the knees and with an exhalation, take them and place them on the floor to the right side, bringing them higher up to the chest, twisting at the hips. Bring the arms at shoulder level on the floor and have the neck and face turned to the left and feel the left lower hip stretch. Repeat this supine twist with the right leg and hip and place it on the floor to the left and continue the breathing with 3 deep inhalations and exhalation, keeping in mind the stretch at the deep inner hip and lower back. Now move to supine spinal twist yoga pose 1. This deep stretch of the upper hip works on the hip joint, creating a balance of the sarcoiliac joint. Remain in this position while looking in the opposite direction, like in this case, look to the right and take deep breaths, counting to 3 inhalations and exhalation. Relax. Repeat this pose with other side and relax. Move to corpse pose. After a good stretch of the hip and lower back, it is essential to bring those muscles to rest and contract. Hence, move the body to corpse pose and bring the entire body and spine to rest. Bring the feet apart and arms stretched out beside you. And chin down without tightening the throat. Bring the feet apart and arms stretched out besides you and chin down without tightening the throat or the neck. Begin the deep inhalations and slow exhalations, and with every exhalation relax and loosen the body completely and continue this for a minimum of 12 breaths. These yoga sequence can gives you better health results. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more updates. Namaste.